know how to discipline a child who talks back? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, and how to build strong family bonds through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we are talking about backtalkers. In this video, we're going to talk about the back-talking and what to never do when they talk back. And then we're going to talk about what you can do to help them be motivated not to talk back, but to talk productively instead. Children who talk back are usually the children who have a lot to say. They have a lot of thoughts going on. They have a lot of questions. They want to know more information. What you absolutely do not want to do for these children who are asking so many questions or wanting to tell you stuff is just shut them down and silence them. That's going to be bad for the relationship and really will make them feel like their opinions or their thoughts are not understood or valued. So we don't want to shut them down, but how do we stop them from back-talking? Another mistake that parents often make is when their child talks back to them, then they talk back to the child. So maybe the child says something like, well, that's not fair. Everybody else gets to do that. And then the parent talks back and says, everybody else does not get to do that. You tell me who everybody else is. Do not negotiate. Do not go back and forth with your child with their back talk. So now we have don't shut them down and don't talk back. So what do you do then? Because there's got to be some way to help the child be understood, but also not have them be so disrespectful to be back talking all of the time, right? Talking back is a bad social skill and it can be very disrespectful and bad for relationships. So we want to teach children to be patient in their communications with people, although sometimes that's easier said than done. So it can take some practice. Now this is the Teaching Self-Government channel. So if you've subscribed to this channel already, then you know I teach a lot of different skills and principles of self-government here so that parents can learn how to teach their children what they need in order to self-govern themselves or have a change of heart and a change of behavior for themselves. So what skill do we need to teach our children so that they don't choose to backtalk? Well, I wish it were just one. We'll start with one skill, but actually there are 4 different skills that a child needs to learn in order to choose not to backtalk. The first skill that I want to talk about is the skill disagreeing appropriately. If a child has something that they want to say to you, then they need to be using the skill disagreeing appropriately. When a person disagrees appropriately, they look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body. They say that they understand the other person's point of view, share their point of view, listen to what you have to say okay, and then drop the subject. So they are prepared to express themselves, but also seek to understand the other person and not to fight at the end of the conversation. Meaning sometimes they might get a yes answer for what they wanted to disagree appropriately about. Sometimes they might get a no. And either way, they're just going to leave it be and move on because it's not worth arguing over. When a person is self-governed, they also know 3 other of the 4 basic skills, which are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, and accepting consequences. These 4 children's books each teach one of those 4 basic skills: following instructions, accepting consequences, accepting no answers and criticism, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns all 4 of those 4 basic skills, then that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. So that's huge. But every single one of these skills relates to the skill disagreeing appropriately. So when you follow instructions, you do 5 steps. Step number 3 is to either say okay or disagree appropriately. When you accept consequences, step number 4 is to say okay or disagree appropriately. When you accept no answers, step number 3 is to say okay or disagree appropriately. And then of course there's just disagree appropriately. So disagreeing appropriately is a pretty important skill, isn't it? Because it's contained in every one of the 4 basic skills as an option for how to communicate. But sometimes it might not be a good time or a good place to disagree appropriately. Let's say, for instance, that you lose something Maybe it's your favorite toy and you've lost it. Well, that's a no answer because you wish you did have it, but you don't. So can you disagree appropriately at that moment about losing that toy? Who are you going to disagree with? You don't know where it went or who took it. So at that point, you might just need to accept the no answer. When you accept a no answer, you do 4 things. You look at the person or the situation, you keep a calm face, voice, and body, you say okay, or you ask to disagree appropriately, and then you drop the subject. Sometimes, if you lose your favorite toy, you look for it, but if you can't find it, you just have to be okay and drop the subject. That's just how it goes. These skills help you know what to do if it's not a good time to disagree appropriately, or maybe how to choose when is a good time to disagree appropriately and when you should just drop the subject and move on, or follow the instruction and move on. When your child talks back to you and you talk back to your child, or you put up with it, or you even follow what they have to say, then that's you having high tolerances. In order to learn self-government, a person needs to have low tolerances. When a parent has low tolerances, that means that they will not put up with the back talk. They will accept someone disagreeing appropriately because that's been determined ahead of time as appropriate and respectful behavior. But when it is time to accept the no answer after a disagreement, or if a person has chosen not to disagree appropriately but instead to talk back, the parent gives feedback in the way of a correction. When you correct your children, they need to be prepared to accept that. Consistent correction is one way that the child learns cause and effect, and they learn when it is a good time for them to use their skill disagreeing appropriately. Children need feedback in order to self-assess. A person cannot learn self-government unless they get that opportunity. But the way that you do your feedback really does matter. If you're a self-governed parent, then that means you have planned out what you're going to say when you do corrections before you ever do that correction. And you've planned what type of a tone that you will have too. The tone is the way that you feel when you're talking with the person. So maybe calmness is going to be your tone, or acceptance, or love, or compassion, or trust. Those might all be parts of your tone as you are doing a consistent and structured correction. When I correct my children, I describe what they did that was wrong, and I do a description so that I don't emotionally react to whatever it was that they chose to do. I don't want to take anything personally because that will damage my calmness and my tone of acceptance. After that, I give a rationale for why it wasn't such a good idea to do what they did. Then I tell them what they should have done. I tell them what consequence they have earned. Then I praise them for accepting their consequence. Then we practice things the right way, usually 3 times with praises. They get the opportunity to earn that negative consequence that builds their character, and then they get praised for that as well. That is how I do a correction. So the correction is going to be very beneficial for the child so that they see they get the opportunity to accept a consequence. That's going to be a big part of their self-government. If your child gets the opportunity to accept a consequence, then they can learn self-government. When your child is talking back to you, they mostly just want you to understand them. That's important to know. So do take the time to listen to them disagree appropriately with you. Teach them that you want to understand them. When they get to a place of calmness and they can communicate with you effectively, make sure you give them your full attention and even repeat back to them what they expressed to you so that they know that you got the message. If they can calmly get your attention and get their message across because you're willing to listen at the right time, then chances are they won't be talking back in a disrespectful way at other times. Teach them that you want to have good, full, connective conversation, but it needs to be done in a way that's respectful. When most people use the term backtalk or talking back, they usually mean disrespectful, snide remarks, or excuses. Those types of things are the child not taking responsibility for their own behavior. They need to get the opportunity to do that. And if they choose to backtalk, make sure they get the opportunity to be corrected and accept an extra chore as well. There are so many more things that I could teach you about self-government that could help you as you're teaching your child how to communicate effectively with you. But I think one of the most important things that I could teach you is how to be prepared to handle any situation by having calmness. I have a calm parenting toolkit on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. Right now, my Calm Parenting Toolkit is available for free if you click the link in the description below this video. The link says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. So click on the link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit now and start down the road to self-government. It won't teach you the entire self-government program, but it will give you 10 tools for calmness that you and your children can start using today.